there, B-Siders. Welcome back to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
And this is our third episode back.
Woo! Yes,
we keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, we've got a interesting movie. Not a typical one in our bailiwick, this film.
That's true. Well, I mean, normally we like horror.
Yeah.
And, sci-fi and stuff. But, dramas, we've done quite a few, actually. I mean.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
If it's a B movie or an indie film, we'll pretty much get into it. So.
We do.
And we did.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Recording again. Welcome back to the new studio.
Yep. I will have a video soon. Just a little quick tour of our studio, and I'll post it, and, people can see it on the YouTube channel and the Patreon. I think I'll just make it free for everybody. So
playing with your new equipment.
Playing with the new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get into everything, This is the moment where I say, hey, why don't you take a look at our Patreon and sign up? $5 a month goes towards keeping the podcast going.
But Jim, what do I get if I sign up on the Patreon?
Well, first of all, you get the podcast continuing. That's kind of the big thing. So on Patreon, I am posting episodes a week early. We're doing them bi-weekly, but in between, I will a week early release for members only the upcoming episode. And then, that's kind of it right now. I want to get to a point where we have enough people to do polling to pick movies for us to cover.
Yeah.
Kind of takes the onus off of hours of building lists of things that could be worth it,
We've got some lists.
We do. We do. Also, there'll be some behind the scenes stuff eventually. Right now, we're not cruising into that just yet. This is enough, getting this back up and going regularly and dealing with, tiny issues, like the whole, doing the Logic remote and kept crashing every time we paused. We didn't lose anything, thank God, but I'd like to get to the bottom of that. So some other little things in the background, but, there'll be some just behind the scenes stuff or just us, quick talking about things. When we have interviews for Patreon paid members, I will probably, if there is some, because it doesn't happen all the time, but like a lot of the times it goes long.
We cut for length.
Yeah. Well, we also will say, okay, that's a wrap. And like with, David Ryan Keith and Leah Matheson, like another 90 minutes, just jabbing, recording still going, The only things that you won't get are things that we're asked not to share.
Correct.
On that note, I do want to mention, before I forget, we have been in contact with David Ryan Keith, and he's got something cooking.
He does.
Got something cooking. He's going to let us take a look at it. And we mentioned this the last couple episodes, and we kind of mention it all the time. These relationships that we built with people, and they're just like all falling back into place as we reach out to them, are magnificent. I mean, it's what makes this worth doing.
It's kind of like coming home in a way.
It is. And more than anything, though, the level of trust that these people give us is very humbling.
It really is.
We've read stuff from people, we've seen stuff from people, and we'll never talk about it because for one reason or another. Right. And, the same things with interviews. Ryan Kruger did, same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, can we cut that? And I'm like, well, absolutely. All of our interviews are pure. So there's like no scripted questions or.
Right. I mean, we might think of a couple of questions we want to ask, but for the most part, it's just sort of a free flowing
Yeah. It's more of a, I really want to know this kind of question.
Yeah.
Right. Or listeners might want to know this. But yeah, for the most part, we do cut a little bit for content because, we want to shrink it down. Although past listeners will know that the 2 hour and 20-minute interview episode's not a stranger to the lineup because it's just a lot of good stuff. But there's a lot more.
I have just thought of another piece of news we can share.
Oh.
We are going to be guesting on another podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good call.
Thank you.
I thought about that earlier, but it just hadn't hit me yet.
It's okay.
So, Cliff Campbell, Marty Catola, Pondo Enterprises, who we, lovingly call the Pondo Boys, with the Frenzy movies. They have a podcast, and we will be on there. Well, we're going to record October 12th.
Yes.
And not going to give anything away. What they like to do is they pick 2 movies to discuss. So we picked one, they picked one, and we're each in turn going to, discuss these movies. Not like we do here.
Right.
Right. But we're going to, talk about just the movie in
they
general.
do spoilers and stuff, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, any information like behind the scenes and just things. So, it's movie nerd discussion. So we're very excited about that. And we will have reminders as it gets close. And that's the kind of thing I'll post on Patreon.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's it for now. Did we talk about Tucson last time?
I don't remember.
With Jeff. So, Mr. Jeffrey Notkin is the Toastmaster.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Yes, at Tucson this year. Folks, if you can go. It'll be worth it. We're debating. It's a little far out. We got to get a little bit closer, see what's going on, what we're doing, and all that good stuff. But we would like to.
Yes. We absolutely would.
Yes.
So we'll see where we're at when the time comes.
Can't think of any other news.
If I sound a bit nasally, it's because I have allergies, so I apologize.
I might sound a little claggy too. So we've had actually like a few days. So we're recording this after Labor Day weekend. Mm-hmm. And we should have recorded it the Sunday night of, but things happen.
We had a bonfire.
We had a bonfire Sunday night, so that wasn't going to happen. But it was beautiful. It's been a beautiful few days. And then for some weird reason today, even though it was forecasted to be continuously sunny, clouds rolled in and we got just a bit of a drizzle.
Yeah.
But out here, a bit of a drizzle is enough
to awaken the mosquitoes.
Loose the krakens, the mosquitoes, there's still stuff throwing pollen and stuff into the air. We may be in the middle of nowhere, but we are not alone. So, there's nothing you can do.
No.
It's a little sniffly coffee, but hey, lucky for you folks, I know how to use the splice key and
cut out all the sniffles and coughs.
Yeah, all of that. As much as possible.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Why don't you tell us about this movie?
I am going to tell you about this week's movie. It is All We Had. It was done in 2016, directed by Katie Holmes, written by Josh Boone, Jill Killington, and it's adapted from the book by Annie Weathermax, starring Katie Holmes, Stefania LaVie Owen. I hope that was right. LaVie.
Yeah.
Eve Lindley, Richard Kind, Luke Wilson. Those are the primaries. There's a bunch of smatterings in there. It is not rated because most
independent films don't get a rating.
Yep, not unless they hit something that requires it. We did not get a budget for this. I'm going to speak to that in a second. But I want to get this plot log line out.
Do it.
Okay. So, 13-year-old Ruthie Carmichael and her mother, Rita, teeter on the edge of poverty despite Rita working multiple jobs. When their landlord kicks them out, Rita uses her looks to instantly reel in a boyfriend who takes them in. Before long, Ruthie convinces her mother to leave, and they head east in search of a better life.
Not even close.
I know. I don't know what happened. I looked and looked and looked for an official plot line.
I mean, maybe that's the plot of the book, but it's not
Maybe.
the plot of the film.
It is not. So let me take a minute before we begin, folks. I have a little bitch box to stand on here. Okay. Number one, budget. After, 3 years of doing this, and even after 2 years out of it, coming back, it chaps my ass how hard it is.
It really grinds my gear.
I mean, I could uncover state secrets, right, with more ease than finding a fucking movie budget. And I don't get it. So we were just talking about before this. I mean, my thing is, if you have made a movie and you didn't use your own money, right? You have investors. So the investors are going to know whether or not you've made money, because that whole thing dictates whether or not they get their money back and then some.
True.
And that's why they invest. It's not like, hey, here's $100. I want my $100 back.
It's not charity.
No, it's business, right? So I know it's a Hollywood thing. And I mean, I understand people if we released a feature film, I would be singing that budget all over the place. Look what we did for X amount of money. And you made a good point of, with the lack of budget information, it makes it hard for others, and particularly the people we're focusing on for this podcast is the newcomers and
up and coming filmmakers.
So you see the movie All We Had. You don't know how much money was into it. And here's the thing, folks. Even though it's an independent film, this is not a B movie. This is a legitimate independent film. But there's a few others that have come out that have millions of dollars, right? Upwards of $20 million for an independent film, which is wild, right?
I mean, there are many different levels of independent film, and that's something you could maybe do a whole different podcast on. That's not what what we talk about, but
right. But this kind of movie is, there's enough names and stuff behind it where I think it would really be helpful.
Yeah.
For an up and comer at every level. Right?
To know how much this movie cost.
How much this movie cost, and how realistic is it to get this kind of look or feel or whatever it is you like about it, right? As a director, writer, whatever. Because there are movies done for $5,000. Features, not shorts. And they do pretty well on the indie circuit. I think it's helpful, especially in independent film. Show people, this is what I had and this is what I made,
Yeah.
And, we were talking about it, I said, I wonder if people are worried that I got $2 million budget. I don't want people to know how much money I lost. Well, people are irrelevant. They're unimportant in terms of that knowledge. The investors are the ones who want to know, need to know, and will know. And those are the people you have to answer to in the morning. Right. So once that's done, what's it matter? I will always maintain budget should be shared.
I agree.
And if you don't, that's fine. That's your opinion and how you like to do it. Just know that it makes it harder for us. And it's really all about us.
Yeah. I mean, I really think everyone should be trying to, impress us, get in our good graces.
Absolutely.
We're tastemakers.
My other point I want to make on the bitch box is IMDb. So, in short, like everything else having to do with technology, everything else that has grown in the last 20 years, I am so super disappointed with it. It used to be literally an internet movie database. You could go there, you could get basic information. They didn't have a whole lot to start with, but they grew. And then they decided, hey, let's make some money and charge, Prime, whatever they're
Pro
IMDb. Yeah, whatever. And because of that, when you do that, you have to give people like some purchase. in that realm, right? So these log lines and stuff, rather than like take the fucking log line, from wherever, the production company, they let people summarize.
Yeah.
Or they just get stuff everywhere. It is so cluttered with crap.
It's a wiki, basically.
It looks like a, fucking Google on crack. I just want to look at this, and this. But there's tons of irrelevant, unnecessary shit. Kind of like YouTube, right? I type in the name of our podcast and we're like fourth. It's word for fucking word.
Yeah.
There's not even like bravo for the B-side without the hyphen in the way, right? That's just my bitch is things have just gotten wildly out of control to the point where they're almost useless. If it takes you that much work and effort to basically find a one sheet on information, what's the point? Like I said, I uncover state secrets with far more ease.
It's true.
Yeah. So that's what the movie is about.
According to IMDb.
Let me just paraphrase this. This is about a mother who is impoverished, bad life choices. She's 14 at some point, turns 15. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So starts the 14-year-old daughter, and it's their journey through this hard ass life. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think that does it.
Sure.
So why don't we hop into this, do some stuff.
All right.
Take it away. Still don't have the soundboard hooked up.
No, it's not a priority.
No.
So we start with a girl and her mother, and the girl is talking about memories. There's a little bit of kind of rambling, but essentially how you don't always know you're going to hit rock bottom. And she's telling her mom they have to leave. They're in this little like apartment kind of thing. And the mom is saying they can't leave. They don't have any money. And the daughter just leaves. And the mom follows her, taking the TV to sell. So they're ripping somebody off. I don't know. It's not really explained.
No. So
then the daughter's kind of narrating, saying that she always knew when it was time to leave. All mom's boyfriends turned out to be creeps. Her name I originally thought was Lizzie, but it's Ruthie. And
yeah.
So I changed her name a lot of times in my notes. But she's reading Vonnegut while they're driving, which is I think to exposit without expositing that she's like a smart kid.
Right.
Right? Vonnegut's a cerebral guy.
Yeah. It's not Curious George.
No.
You have to.
It's not like, YA romance. She's not reading Twilight.
God. Yeah. No, you have to think about it while you read it.
Yeah. And as they're driving, mom, they're just kind of chatting. Mom asks where Harvard is. Kind of with the idea that they should head that direction-ish.
Right.
And we learn the daughter's 14. They decide they're going to head towards Boston so that Ruthie can go to Harvard and become a doctor.
Yes.
So then they're at a burger joint and something is hurting mom's tooth. So they go to a bathroom, tie a string to her tooth and to a vent in the bathroom. And she tells the daughter to push her because she doesn't think she can, make herself do it to get the tooth pulled out. And the daughter here says that hanging tooth felt like rock bottom.
Yes.
She goes in and steals a couple things from the gas station, some aspirin, a drink. And then they're sleeping in their car at night. And they're kind of fantasizing about having a big house with a lawn and a pool and all the things that you kind of fantasize about when you don't have them.
Yeah.
Right? She asks her mom about her own mom, and mom doesn't really want to talk about it. So in the morning, Mom pours a little alcohol in this like rhinestone plastic cup that she has. That's got like leftover soda or something in it.
There is always soda
There's
present.
always, something in the cup.
Yeah.
She's topping off with alcohol. And Ruthie is saying that Mom didn't believe in maps. They're driving again. You know, it's a lot of driving. Mom just follows the signs.
And I just want to point out, this car is a sled.
Yes.
This thing, it's like a 1704, pre-combustion engine thing. It looks awful. And here's the thing. I'm sure there are some listeners who will identify with this car as either one that they had very young, or who've had these circumstances and have had this kind of car. But it looks like shit.
Yeah. It's a little red beater.
Yes.
There's a scene where they pull over in the rain and dance around in it. And then we see them, they're like, taking a quick, like bath in a bathroom, a public bathroom, just kind of cleaning themselves up, getting changed.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is knocking insistently on the door. And when they leave, it's this woman who calls them trash.
Yeah.
Which seems uncalled for.
It was really uncalled for.
Yeah.
And a little odd.
Yeah. And Mom says back to this woman, she says, bitch.
Yeah.
And they just leave. Later, they're driving again. And then something happens with the car. And initially I'm like, did they blow a tire?
So when they were driving away,
mm-hmm.
and I noted it, you could see the muffler is sideways and hanging.
Mm.
And that's just a recipe for disaster. And what happened was that there's a scraping sound. It hit the ground and all the sparks, I think, caught the high quality bumper on fire.
Right.
Because it's a, plastic car.
Yeah. So the back of the car is on fire. They get out. Mom puts it out and she has this little bit of a meltdown.
Yeah.
That's a shit car, a shit life. Why does everything she touched turn to shit? Why does everything break? That kind of thing.
So after the breakdown, we cut to a garage and she's talking to the mechanic and he's breaking the news that it'll be $600 or $700. This, of course, is an issue. So she goes into her story, tries to tell him that they're broke and maybe there's something special they can work out. So this was the first point I was not clear about what was happening in a scene. Yeah, ultimately he says, 500 is the best that he can do. She's upset, pays him. But I noted after that, because the way she was talking and the way she looked at Ruthie, did she just offer her daughter?
No, I think she was offering herself.
Well, that's kind of what I thought. But maybe you should have looked a different direction because she literally looked right at her daughter. That was weird. And I wasn't cool with that. I'm like, let's see where this goes, right? So then it's night. They're on the road again. They pull over and Mom is looking wrecked. Whatever led up to this from the beginning to this point already is just like, she looks like 100 miles of bad road. Just torn up. Ruthie tries to throw some positive thoughts at her. And she does that throughout the whole movie. There's different points. Next day, they're driving. Another roadside restaurant. They get there. They knock. The waitress is inside. And she's pointing to her watch. We're not open yet.
Right.
But she lets them in. And the waitress, it's important to the story. But it's worth mentioning that the actor is trans and does such a wonderful job.
Well, and the character of the waitress is trans.
Yes. Well, yeah. So and that was the next point was the whole thing of trying to get people to pretend to do or be something, that's acting. But in this day and age, there are plenty of people who are that character, right? They're somewhere along the LGBTQ, the whole thing. Why not just hire one?
Right.
An actor who is this aspect of a character and, make it authentic instead of trying to wing it. Oh, so they use that right in the beginning. As they sit down, Ruthie's asking, I didn't quite catch it, something about male or female.
I didn't catch that bit.
But it brought up the waitress says, waitresses have really good hearing.
Oh.
Because she heard this. And I mean, she was really cool about it. And she says, if they got to know her, they would see that it's not what's between her legs that matters. It's what's between her ears that makes her interesting.
Yeah.
I just, very clean and hard hitting.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. So they order massive breakfasts, cut to them finishing up everything. The cook / owner comes out. Uncle Marty. I just call him the owner throughout the whole thing. Because once I get on a name, I'm not changing it. So he's the owner.
Oh, the waitress calls him Uncle. It was one of the first actual names I felt confident about. Because the waitress calls him Uncle Marty. So he's Uncle Marty, the whole thing for me.
Well, just to back you up earlier, I also had Izzy and Lizzie before I landed on Ruthie.
Yeah.
So anyway, he comes out and tells the waitress to wrap up some muffins free of charge for the road. Then the check comes and Ruthie starts to get uneasy. Mom tells her that the people don't give two shits about her. Get over it. Sends Ruthie to the car. Mom soon follows. They drive off. And as they're pulling out, a cop car comes by.
Right.
So she slams on the brakes. And then when the car's passed, she tries to put her car into gear. It won't go. Nope. So she puts it in reverse and backs out through the parking lot to behind the diner.
And Ruthie's like, you can't just drive backwards forever. What are you going to do?
Mom, she's like, it won't go. It won't go. And so she ends up parking behind the diner, starts freaking out again.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruthie talks to her, and then Mom has an idea. So she changes shirts, says they're going back in. And Ruthie's like, what? We just ripped this place off. She's like, Ruthie, look, our car just broke down behind the diner we just ripped off. We've got to do something. So they go in. Waitress is already on the phone with the cops. Owner asks, what would they expect him to do? So Mom says, go ahead and call them. They'll put her in jail, her daughter in child services. She apologizes, starts crying. Ruthie said something, and the owner says he's always believed that desperation makes people make bad choices.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks Mom if she has any experience as a waitress. And then we get some scenes of her just being awful as a waitress.
Yeah.
So the answer is no.
No.
Or if she did, it was very short-lived. Certainly not enough time to improve.
Yeah.
And then at some point, there's guys throwing eggs at the window, yelling, get out of here, fag. I just wrote down, lovely little town. Rural America. Can't.
Yeah.
Just can't sell it enough. So next morning, they're still sleeping in the car, waking up at 5:30 to get themselves ready to, both of them are working.
Right.
So Ruthie is working as a dishwasher.
Yeah.
At this point.
And I think maybe busing.
Yeah, just the scut stuff. One less thing for a waitress to have to deal with.
Right.
So the owner is talking to someone at the counter, and the whole time he's talking, there's bang, bang. Ruthie is worse at doing the dishwasher
stuff,
collecting stuff than her mother is at being a waitress. So he looks at her and says, you're the best dishwasher I've ever seen. I'm going to give you $1 raise right now. And I
loved that bit.
yes.
I thought it was so sweet.
Let's take a quick pause. So, character building, introducing characters to the viewer.
Yeah.
That one bit started with, I think people who are in desperate situations make bad choices.
Yes.
Not saying they're bad people, right? That was like a hint, but that right there, I think more than anything else in this film, solidified his character as in no questions need to be asked. He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
Just a good guy, and I don't know. That really hit home. And then we have another night.
I wrote another night also.
Mom is being looked at by some dude at the counter. He's a bit drunk and asks if she'd like to get a drink with him in the back room. She says no. And then he proceeds to puke all over the floor.
Yes.
As he leaves, he asks the waitress, how is the retainer working out?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, mouth retainer. So I wrote, is the dude a dentist? Because he wasn't rambunctious drunk.
No.
Right?
He was like a sad drunk.
He was like a sad drunk. He was super wasted, but he wasn't like mean or anything.
Yeah. He was talking about like fantasy football.
Yeah. Going on about something. When they cut to him, he was in the middle of his conversation.
Yeah.
So.
He wasn't mean. He was just.
He had some thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just had some thoughts. So as Mom is getting her tip, the waitress says, don't forget her cut.
He left a huge tip.
He did. And I thought about this for a second because I thought, oh, is this other waitress a bitch now? And I thought, no. In a lot of situations, in small places like this, right? You won't get this in TGI Fridays and stuff. But when you go to a small place and you don't know shit about serving, if a server is working with you and training you, they get some of your tip.
Yeah.
Because they're
working for it.
Well. Yeah. Eventually, hopefully you'll get good enough and you get to keep all your tips. Later, they're allowed to sleep in the back room instead of in their car. So step up. And as they lay there, Mom says they'll tuck money away until they can fix the car and then take off.
Well, notably, she takes the money that Ruth is getting paid.
Yes. All goes into the fund.
Right.
As they lay there, oh, nope, already did that. Also tells Ruthie not to trust these people. There'll be more on that later. So Ruthie says Pam, who is the waitress, is okay, but she calls her a he. And at this point, I wrote, I'm not sure what happened to Mom, but she's a bit of a head case. Up to this point, there's just a lot of little things that are said and done, and this whole hate the world thing is not a healthy mind.
Well, she says here the nicest people turn out to be the biggest assholes.
That was in my next paragraph. I was going to flip it to you.
Well, Ruthie disagrees with that.
Yes.
So then we cut to another day, and Mom is flirting with this guy in the diner who's wearing a nice suit. Well, I say wearing a nice suit. He's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that night, Mom tells Ruthie to get some sleep, and Ruth sort of narrates that her mom was always better at loving men than choosing them.
Yes.
Every new town had a new boyfriend, and that's still the case here, where Mom is out all night with suit guy.
Yes.
Then Ruth tells us that Mom was wrong about Pam. And we get a little bit of them becoming friends. I don't really know how much time is passing, but they're bonding over building something or crafting something. Pam lives in a little trailer
Right.
and puts up like videos on the internet. She does mention that she does a little bit of like, some like OnlyFans or something, some porn videos, hoping to get famous.
Yeah.
She talks about moving to New York. And she says this is her year. And Pam is a very positive person.
She is. One thing, before the suit guy, we do see Pam and Ruthie together talking about aluminum cans.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when she's like, there's so much shit being thrown around and waste. That's how I learned to make things out of them, like jewelry.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole crafting thing came in.
So then Ruth is telling us, the audience, through her narration, that the longer they stayed at the diner, the more the town started to feel like home.
Mm-hmm.
And then Suit Guy, who is apparently a realtor,
yes,
is showing them a house. And it's not a very nice house.
It is, well, given the feel of the small town, it wasn't a new house. There are no new houses to be seen.
No.
Right. So
it's a little bit run down. I mean, it's not like a shit shack.
No.
But it's pretty run down. But it's yellow, which is the color that Ruthie, when they were talking about like their dream house.
Yeah.
That's the color Ruthie wanted it to be. And so Mom's like, it's yellow. It's yellow. It's also fully furnished. So, whoever's house it was before, all the furniture is still in it. And the realtor guy says that he's basically telling Mom, you're actually going to be saving money by investing in a house.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And you don't even need a down payment.
I knew right then, dick.
Shady.
Yes.
Yeah. But they're so excited, Mom and Ruthie. So they go shopping, and it's like they've never been in a department store before when they go in.
I think it had to do with Ruthie's like, there's one of everything here.
Yeah.
I don't think they've gone into these big places, because if you try to steal from these places, the chances of getting caught are high.
Well, I mean, the other thing is like when you live on the road, you don't.
Well, you're not going to go to like Home Depot or run into Walmart and go to the home department. But even for like food and stuff, I think the little gas stations and the road stuff, in and out, you can speed away, and these weren't like mobile or quick trips.
No, they're like,
it's like
Cenex.
Yeah. Well, not even that. It's like John's roadside gas and stuff. Those are easy to get away from.
Right. So as they're going through, Ruth puts her hood up, and Mom is like, no. We're not stealing anything, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. Suiting up.
Yeah. And then Mom says they should apply for a credit card because they own a house now, so they'll for sure qualify for one. So they just like fill up their cart. And while they're going through, Mom is like sneaking sips from a bottle in her purse.
Yeah.
And then we see them, watching cartoons and stuff on their new TV that they got with their new credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Right? At home. And then their new neighbor, Connie, comes to the house to introduce herself. And I can't remember this actress's name, but I love her. It doesn't matter. Anyway. She's adorable. She has several kids who are all like bickering outside, and she's also currently pregnant. And she makes a joke about how she gets pregnant so easily. She looks at Ruthie's mom, and she's like, I mean, you could get me pregnant just looking at me. So she starts telling them about the lady across the street is the principal of the school, the local school that Ruthie will be going to.
And a bitch.
And is into Spoon River Anthology.
Yes. Oh my God. I made a whole thing about that.
Did you? What did you do?
Mentioned Spoon River Anthology. I'm a bit stunned. This is such a not known, hard to talk to people about. When we talk about Truth in Stone, it's adapted from Spoon River Anthology, and we get the same look every time. Just like visual static.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's like a nice little Easter egg.
Well, the odds of it.
I know.
Showing up anywhere in the film, but I thought, man, that is, So I was happy. Almost as happy as seeing our logo in a movie.
Well, I think it's a nice little parallel because this is a small town. Spoon River is about a small town and all this drama. Anyway.
And that's how she explains it. It's about this small town.
A bunch of dead people.
A bunch of dead people. And the ones that aren't dead are just a bunch of sad ass people. Like, well, yes.
Yes. So Mom immediately goes to introduce Ruth to the principal. And then while Ruth's talking to the principal, Mom runs off the realtor guy and they're like doing blow in his car.
Yeah.
And she's out all night again. On the way to school the next morning, Mom's talking about how Ruth is so smart. And this is like a constant refrain throughout the movie.
Yes.
And Ruth is kind of annoyed by it.
I mean, yeah. But, she's 14, so.
She is. And Ruth seems like apprehensive. And then when Ruth goes to school, Mom is kind of teary.
Yeah.
It's cute. Ruth meets a girl in the bathroom of the school who immediately asks her for drugs. And when Ruth doesn't have any drugs, this girl calls her a dyke and leaves.
Yeah. Well, I call her bitch girl from this point forward.
Yeah.
Because she's like, do you have any weed? Do you have any booze? Do you have any smokes?
I know.
You're a dyke.
Yeah.
Storms out.
Yeah. It's just weird. At night, the drunk guy comes back to the diner. Vomit guy. And asks if Mom remembers him. And she's like, yeah.
Those are hard to forget.
Right. So he apologizes for throwing up on her. He explains that he's going through AA. And he's doing his rounds of like apologizing.
Yes.
And she is just like constantly drinking from her plastic bedazzled booze cup. Which I find an interesting dichotomy. But that night, Ruth steals some smokes from her mom and gives them to bitchy bathroom girl at school the next day.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't give them to her. She's in the bathroom. Bitch girl comes out of the stall. Ruthie just leaves. But where Ruthie was standing in front of the mirror, she left that, however many cigarettes were in that pack. There.
Well, it's a playing card deck pack. But she's stuck cigarettes in it.
Yeah. And, of course, bitch girl's like, I won't get into what I thought about the whole thing. But anyway. So then we see Ruthie and bitch girl smoking weed in a backyard somewhere. Then we cut to Ruthie. She's reading out loud in class. Seemed like an essay that she wrote. And it was... it seemed like it was pretty good. Again, wasn't beginning to end, so we kind of came in on it, but we get the gist of the idea. But, you got to watch the movie.
I think the gist is that, like, she did a good job on the essay.
I mean, pretty much. Well, she was very eloquent, if not a little stumbly from her unease. But it still was really well read out loud. I think that was demonstrating, she's got the stuff. And then there's shots of her with bitch girl, some other kids making friends in that circle. And of course, the principal is watching from her tower window and sees what's going on. And then we're in the principal's office. She's dressing down Ruthie, delivering a great line that I think she said her father told her when she was growing up. If you hang around shit, you get shit on you.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's actually a pretty good line. It's a little simplistic, maybe a little harsh, and could easily teeter in the wrong direction. But it's pretty much common sense.
Right.
But then we got the whole debate of, who's who to call who shit and stuff. To me, it was like kids being kids, especially in a little town. There are very few tiny towns in America that are members of, the Upright Citizens Brigade.
I grew up in a little town.
I know.
There wasn't a whole lot to do.
Well, no, and they were showing what they did do.
That's what there is to do.
Yep. And you've told me so.
Yeah.
Apples and apples. So anyway, Ruthie is suspended for 3 days. And then you have the voiceover. Says she's never been in trouble before. She did not want to tell her mother about it. She doesn't want to disappoint her mom.
Right.
Okay, that's fair. And then we have mom is in bed. She's got a really bad cough. Ruthie says she needs to go to a doctor. Mom says they can't afford it. And then later, Vic shows up.
Realtor guy.
Yeah, realtor guy. Vic the dick. He sees mom in bed sick, and then suddenly he has to go.
Oh, yeah, he's busy.
Oh, man, that is as transparent as could ever be. So he leaves, and Ruthie runs out across the street. She goes to the principal's home. She tells her about her mom. Principal has her come in, and next day morning, there is a doctor checking over mom.
At home.
At home. Then Ruthie's back at school. She said everything had changed in those 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And realized so had she.
Yeah.
They were already behind in their house payments. This is the voiceover. The diner was slow.
Mm-hmm.
The owner comes out back with some booze after closing, saying he's not drinking alone as mom is sitting out there.
Already drinking.
So he and mom share a drink. They're talking. She's like, oh, that's tough. He's like, he says, every day is tough. And at this point, I just want to stop at this point instead of wait until the end. This bit hit close to home.
Yeah. Because
we have relatives who own a restaurant and it's in a little town. They're doing well, but the
physical cost,
about what, 10 years?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, it's like when they do that thing where they show, here's Obama the day before he took his oath of office, and here's Obama when he left his presidency, and it looks like he's been in office like for 125 years.
Right.
Because,
the man aged.
So the whole lead up to this little point where things are slow and this and that, it just really hit like, damn, yeah, it's just this guy. He's the owner. He's the cook. He's got, 2 waitresses now. I mean, that's it.
Right.
Right? The hard fucking work that goes into this. Folks, if you do nothing else in life, when you go to these little restaurants, I'm not talking TGI and Applebee's, and Red Robin and all that shit. When you stop at these diners, when you stop at these mom and pop shops, privately owned, don't be an asshole. It's that whole kindergarten thing. Everything you need to know about life, you learn in kindergarten. What's rule number 1? Don't be a dick. Right?
Yeah. The golden rule.
These people are working harder than you know. So just don't be an asshole. That's my thing. All right. So they're having their talk. Some guys come in. Pam says they're closed. Owner says, wait. He'll get them something to eat. It's another few bucks. I mean, what are you going to do?
They're already there.
And then mom comes in to make some coffee, tells Ruthie to go home. Ruthie says, you're drunk. So anyway, she goes home. And then we get a voiceover as Ruthie is riding her bike home. She says she knows when her mom is scared because she drinks more than usual. So she decides to turn around and go back to the restaurant. And kind of saw this coming
Yes.
Things went bad, real quick. Interestingly, while these bad things are going on, the owner and mom are in the back office, like having a dance.
Dancing?
They're loaded.
Yeah.
Right? They have no idea what's going on. Won't get into it, but let's just say Pam is having the worst happen.
Yeah.
So Ruthie sees this. She runs inside, grabs a gun, goes back outside, tells him to stop, and then mom runs out.
Right.
Right? Hearing all this. And, these fuckers run off. And the next day, Ruthie is at Pam's. She's knocking on the door, but there's no answer. So she leaves this like craft plate that she made, kind of like a bedazzled thing. And then we see mom pulling up to an AA meeting. She goes in, Mr. Vomit, or Vomit Guy.
Yeah.
Vomit Guy is in there and he is talking. So we get his why I hit rock bottom. So we find out that he lost his wife, and he goes in this whole thing is that she was his family.
Right.
There is nobody else. So when he lost her, he literally lost everything. And he took it hard to nosedive and got into the booze. But then he says the group has become his family, and kind of sets him up. Seems like a decent dude.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a little check mark for reality. There's a million reasons people fall into alcoholism, drug abuse, but that is a prevalent one. People who lose somebody that is their world,
right,
don't often handle it well.
Right? No, and I mean, it's hard, Yeah. We cut to home. Mom is trying to talk to Ruthie, who is ignoring her. Mm-hmm. She tells Ruthie she's trying to clean up. Okay, so that makes sense. She went to the A meeting. And then Ruthie, in perfect teenage, if not slightly common sense fashion, tells her that she turns every good thing that she touches to shit. Yep. So now we're starting to get a little real in this relationship. Back at the diner, Pam shows up to turn in her uniform. She got all folded up. And the owner just gives her this huge hug. Uncle Marty. Later, Mom goes in the back. Pam's sitting on the floor by the sink smoking a cigarette. And talks about what happened to her a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And they talk a little bit. And, she's like, gets to that, like, what's going on? Like what, yes, there's emotion stuff, but what's in your head? Pam says that she's just scared in general, right? That sometimes God makes mistakes. And Mom is like, well, do you think you're a mistake? And she like puts some lipstick on her, tells her to get up, go back to her trailer, put on a fancy dress, and be herself. And this was a moment where Mom has just been this problem. Mm-hmm. This problem that attracts other problems, and all this recurring stuff. But anyway, it was nice to see some depth. Mom has wisdom. And I mean, that's kind of thing. We focus on Ruthie and how smart she is, and all the mom stuff that she says about her. And Mom really has been kind of made out to be just sort of like a Jesus, like I said, a head case. Like, right. Fuck me, this goes way beyond like emotional damage. There's something wasn't built right from the factory to start with. But then we see this human emerge, mm-hmm. right? Like
not simplifying it like this, but basically shit happens. Don't let anyone take anything away from you. Be you. You know?
Right.
So anyway, I thought that was really, that was really nice. And then we're at another AA meeting. Mom and Vomit Guy are chatting. And we find out he is 7 months sober. Mom is 18 days sober. And he sideways asks her to go out and get some coffee.
Right.
And it's like, usually traditionally it's bad form for somebody with a long...
Well, he's like, I would ask you if you'd been in AA a little longer.
Yeah. But she's for it. And then we go to the diner. Pam is back at work. She's playing a game with Ruthie. Mom and Vomit Guy are then playing skee ball. And he comments on her smile, saying that he can fix her tooth. And, bam, he's a dentist. And they get along well.
Oh, yeah.
Which in a way that was completely different than what we saw how she interacted with Vic, the asshole.
Right.
Right.
It's more of a friendship. She's not like throwing herself at him.
Right. They're actually engaging.
Yeah.
In something together rather than just, it's a preamble to sex in the backseat of the car, like with Vic.
Right.
Then we have some shots of some closed stores, malls. I mean, just that series of images that you're like, Jesus Christ. But here's the thing. This was done in 2016. It's 2024. This is the reality. Back then, it was the beginning of the decline of small businesses and small towns.
Well, this story is supposed to have taken place during the Great Recession. Right.
But even then, it was actually happening. At the pandemic, it put us in that's kind of what we see. I mean, we drive through how many small towns to get where we're going? Mm-hmm. And how many of them are empty? I mean, it's like nowhere to go to do anything, And then we have a voiceover, and Ruthie is talking about she's always heard about a financial crisis, but now she's seeing it. So she gets home on her bike, and there's a foreclosed sign out front, or foreclosure.
Yeah.
That pretty much, frames that whole thing. Then she's with, she goes in and lights a cigarette.
Yeah.
Which I get completely, because by this time she's 15. She's made her transition, because we're nearly there. So I get it.
And Mom says nothing.
No.
I have learned at this point that Mom's name is Rita.
Yeah. And it was too late for me to care. So Mom it is. But I did that at 12. It wasn't like to be cool, because I was the coolest kid in the neighborhood. I regularly pounded people because they wanted my French fries. But I very much got that. And then Ruthie's with Pam, just talking about the shit situation she's in.
Yeah.
All this. And Pam is really trying to tell her that things will be okay. Things work out. Ruthie's not having it. And I don't mean she just says it and, she's like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. And that's the scene. She really tries to lay into her to get her to understand the now is not the result.
Right.
Bad shit happens. But if you ride it through and you fight it, things will be okay. And, we all know it's not 100% the case, but it's an awesome thing to hold on to when you're going through shit, to try and remember there's an end to this, right? There's another side to this. So I really, again, this is, illustrating Pam is just really a cool human being. She's awesome. But anyway, I can't blame Ruthie. A lot of times when these scenes happen, you're like, oh, quit being such a fucking teenager. Could, but I really can't blame her because she has known nothing but shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, when? This is just same old, and 15 is far too long to have to put up with this kind of stuff. It's basically her whole life, pretty much.
Right.
But anyway, there's a bunch of shit back and forth. Pam gets her to smile. And I thought, that's pretty awesome.
So Vic the Dick, the guy, comes to the house and tells Mom to put something sexy on. He's taking her out. And she's like, what? She's like, our house is foreclosed. You fucked us, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I can fix it. And she's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Just not having it.
Nope.
So I'm like, good for her.
Yep, good on her.
Yeah. At night, Ruthie's working on homework and Mom heads out somewhere. So Ruthie goes and watches her with the, I wrote the AA vomit dentist.
Just call him vomit guy.
But she actually comes home well before morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see the little house empty. So they've moved out. And Mom is seeing the vomit guy at the diner while Ruthie is looking on like annoyed. And then Mom breaks into tears and says they're losing their house. He's like, well, come stay with me. And she says no. And she's like very firm about this. She says, I can't have another guy saying he's going to help us. I can't do it to Ruthie. And then Mom and Ruthie are outside having a cigarette together.
Yeah.
And Ruthie asks Mom when they're moving in with Lee, is the name of vomit guy. And she says they're not. And then they're sleeping in the diner again. We learn the diner's going out of business. So it's another casualty of the recession. And at AA, Mom stops vomit guy and hugs him. And he says he wants them to stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see Mom and Ruthie are in the car together outside of the diner. They talk about how they hate goodbyes. And then they're on the road together again. And it really seemed like they drove a long way.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Thank you.
Because I thought we were done.
I thought they were leaving town. Yeah, I thought the movie was over.
Like going back to not back to, but heading back towards Boston.
Right.
Because that was a long drive.
It was a long drive. And then they're in this like nice neighborhood to a clean little house. And it's Lee's place, vomit guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruthie is not enthusiastic. But he shows them around the house. It's like a little A-frame. It's nothing super fancy, but it's nice. There's a pool in the backyard that Mom's excited about. And there's a moment here where Ruthie digs a chessboard out of a closet that is the room that is hers. And he's like, I'm sorry, I haven't cleared all of my stuff out of it. I tried to, And he offers to play chess with her. And then we get this kind of montage of days where Ruthie is very moody. Lee's like teaching her to swim. They have breakfast together every morning. It's just like normal stuff.
Yeah, the breakfast things set up a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
He's always coming in cheerful, how you doing, Ruthie? And she's like, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then next time she's even like, blah, 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 blah. And then third time she's like, nothing.
Right. And he's just like, okay, then.
And eventually just walks out.
Mm-hmm. And Mom asks Ruthie what's wrong at kind of the end of this montage. And Ruth is like, not believing that they let the life that they are having right now. She's like, when are we going to stop playing this stupid game? And she cuts pretty deep into Mom.
Oh, yeah. She is 100% real in every word and everything behind it.
So they have this big fight. Ruth drives off in the car. I don't know if Ruth is allowed to drive. If she has like a learner's permit or what.
I don't. Well, even at 15, the answer is still no, because there's not an adult in the car. Right. So I don't think that she cared about that.
But she drives off and goes to a party, and it's like all the druggy kids from her school.
Yeah.
And then back at the house, Lee is talking to Mom about Ruthie. And he's like, it's normal for teenagers to do these things. Mom is very concerned.
Oh, she's losing her shit.
Yeah.
But he is just like 100% like Owen Wilson level calm.
Well, it's Luke Wilson.
I know.
So
he doesn't get a whole lot of that opportunity, though, to be in a situation like that. He plays that level of calmness very well in a lot of roles, but he's not often competing head on with someone who's, fucking head was missing a couple clips anyway. He's about to just pop.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it a little more later, but Luke Wilson is a very underrated actor.
Absolutely, he is.
So at the party, Ruthie's like kissing a boy that bitch girl liked, and bitch girl calls her trash, and then Ruthie calls her a bitch.
Yeah.
She leaves, and then I guess she goes to Pam's. She doesn't come home. But Pam has called Mom. So Mom comes there in the morning. They apologize to each other. And they have this, sweet moment without a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
They make up.
Yeah.
The end.
Well, no, they drive back to Vomit Guy. They don't hit the road.
Right.
They're going home.
Right.
Finney. Let's talk about this bad boy.
First off, Katie Holmes directed and starred in this movie, and she is fantastic.
Yes.
I have an enormous amount of respect for Katie Holmes.
Yeah. For a number of reasons.
As a person, as a director, as an actor. For a huge number of reasons. She's a powerhouse of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire her greatly.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. This isn't about her though.
No.
So I won't get into all of it, but yeah. She's incredible.
Yes. So with that said, the acting in this film is amazing. It's a great masterclass in acting, especially in acting for this, the type of person that they're portraying.
Right.
That sounds weird, but the class of person, right?
Yeah.
Because despite not technically being a class society, we are a class society.
Oh, we absolutely are.
And I think that they absolutely nailed it. Basically, everyone in this film.
Mm-hmm.
The direction is really well done.
Mm-hmm.
The sets, costuming, the makeup. I mean, it is all very, very good. It's all big studio level good.
Yeah. The folks that they had, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera and doing all this, these are people who clearly have had a lot of experience in their various fields.
Yes.
Because you were talking about set dressing.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
Oh, there's so many tiny little details, that are just perfect.
And I mean, for the casual watcher, a lot of that stuff gets missed.
Right.
But, we like to zero in on stuff.
Well, like.
Not looking for Easter eggs, but to fully appreciate.
Right.
What has been laid out for us to look at.
The stuff that's all in their car, the car itself, the diner, the little yellow house, Lee's house, every place, and then driving through the town itself. Mm-hmm. It is very, it's very like every little town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and I know there's a lot of little town people who will hate that I say this, but little towns are all the same.
They all look the same.
I mean, they look and smell the same. Doesn't matter if It has like in Monroe, the beautiful courthouse,
Right.
that these little towns go through exorbitant fundraisers and stuff to raise money to help restore these beautiful old buildings from turn of the century, or before, depending what town it is.
Settlement.
Yeah.
The town that we live in has a downtown that was built when this town was settled.
And nothing's been done since.
And ain't nothing changed.
Yeah. There's enough room for like 15 cars to park, and that's on both sides total. There's just not a lot to this downtown, but it is what it is.
Right.
But they do all have that look. And when things start to go south, then it has that unfortunate look that they all share. Small towns can't weather store closed, diner closed, right? Kind of thing real well, because it's a huge piece of limited real estate that's now been rendered useless. And the scar of, closed, out of business, it's just so much more noticeable.
It is. It's a gaping wound in any little town.
Yeah. Well, like I had mentioned with the montage, when she's talking about the financial crisis, it hits hard because we see it every day. As I'm saying, all these years later, we're seeing it, and unfortunately, it doesn't go away. In a big city, you can have a place closed and it's something else, and then it closes and it's something else. Not so much. Not so much in tiny town.
That happens in a little town, but it's not at the same turnover rate.
No, there's huge swaths of time in between something that withers and a rebirth of some kind, if there's going to be one.
Right. But a lot of times that stuff just ends up abandoned because it isn't worth the time and effort it's going to put into fix it back up. Right.
Well, there's the town I shall not name, but they have that hotel that had been there since I was a kid.
Right.
Right. Man, that thing looks like some sort of something rising out of the, the green of the Amazon. It just is terrible looking.
I know. It looks like a zombie apocalypse game or any apocalypse game.
Yeah. If you needed to shoot something like that, this would be the place to do it because it's already done for you.
Right.
Stuff's growing up through what was the parking lot. And
that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Right?
Sounds terrible, but...
and maybe that's what they did for this film. I don't know much about the production of this film.
Right.
But it's possible that is what they did.
It was shot in New York. There's multiple locations. That's all I dove into because I don't need to know the sad story behind so it was probably real. It looked, it was. You can tell. Film like this, you don't go to the costs of doing up a whole building and parking lot and area around it to make it look closed like it's been that way for years, right? That's a ridiculous waste of money.
Ludicrous.
Yeah, because there is some place that
it's comparable to building a set that is an alley right next to the actual alley that you're basing that set off of.
Are you talking about Tommy?
Maybe.
Okay, we won't get into that. Visually, yes. A lot of this had a lot of authenticity to it, and there's little details in the background. And that's something for folks, because this is for everybody. If you're a set designer or a set dresser or, anything remotely close to that, what you do is art.
It is.
All of this is art. The way you put lights up is art. All of it. And there are people out there, like us, who we don't just watch what's happening in a movie. We take it all in because every frame is a capture of something that was meticulously crafted. And often the background doesn't get much play in people's minds. But, nerds like us and our tribes, We love it. We eat it up because it just makes you feel, yeah, there.
It's important.
It is.
About the makeup.
Mhm.
I do have one thing I want to say.
Sure.
The makeup is done excellently, although I resent the portrayal of blue eyeliner as a trashy thing. So, this being an audio medium, I don't wear makeup.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Very, very rarely will I do makeup. Did somebody wake Siri up?
I think you did.
I didn't. It's yours.
No.
Huh. Well, very, very rarely will I do makeup, but I maintain that blue eyeliner can be pulled off. That's all I'm saying.
All of it can. I mean, it just, you got to pick a color.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to put something on.
It's always blue eyeliner is like the trash look.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never really associated. The only thing I associate with trying to portray something as trashy is, stripper glitter. And that's like a staple in cinema, right? There's always some glitter for some reason. I don't know. It just, it's something.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the good. And I think, if you want to watch this for the good, watch it for the performances, for the set, for the framing of every shot. It's all done superbly.
Yes.
And I believe this was Katie Holmes' directorial debut.
Yes. And she did well.
She knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, on the other side of the coin,
right,
comes the story.
Yeah.
So while we were watching this, we had to take a lot of breaks because Tubi kept cutting out on us because there was some issue.
We're gonna touch on that before we close.
But during the first little break we took, we were talking about poverty voyeurism.
You called it poverty porn.
Yeah. I was trying to be nice, but it's poverty porn. It's voyeurism.
Yeah.
In kind of the basest sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know this at the time, but we were talking about it and I said, surely the person who wrote this has never experienced poverty.
Yeah.
In any true way, shape, or form. And you and I both grew up poor,
mm-hmm.
right? Not at this level where you're living out of your car, kind of deal, but
I lived out of my car.
Well, like with,
not with my family. This is when I was young
right.
and on my own.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get to know some things.
You do. Well, so here's the thing that we talked about is the writing of the story. They hit like all the base marks, right? So when you have a story, folks, you know that you have those, boom, there's the I want to call it the high point, but there's the column, boom, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, that happened. And then boom. So these, highlights are all hit, but what was lacking was the web from one to the next.
Right. The connections between these like shock value moments.
Yeah. It was all kind of like, oh, this happened. Oh, this happened. Oh, this happened. Now, having lived, just one inch away from that life, right? Because it made it seem like they were constantly on the road.
Right.
And they'd spend a month or two, maybe 3 with somebody, and then that would go shit and they got to go. Right. Because she's picking a horrible human being to be with. Now, when you grow up poor, there's a lot of fine details.
There are.
that don't hit these high marks. It's boom, got that, boom, got that, boom, got that, checking it off a list. So this was not written from a place of experience or really even knowledge. There was a lot.
It felt like an amalgamation of someone who'd read a lot of things or seen a lot of things about poverty.
Right.
But never personally experienced it.
So not having read the book and not going to.
No.
I don't know if we fault the book, the source material, or the adaptation. I think it's both. I think it really just feels like there's times you can watch an adaptation, right? Something that's been adapted from whatever's out there into a script. And there's going to be sacrifices. You can't fit a whole book into a movie.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And sometimes they do it poorly and there's like continuity issues and like, well, what? Who's this?
Right.
I just didn't feel like whoever did this didn't give the actors enough to really live in that world. And because of that, I had a problem where there's the story going. And I'm all for Irish endings. There's no happy Irish fairy tales. They all end
the ending
badly.
felt very kind of campy and
it was too quick. This
contrived.
Vomit Guy should have been the second act.
Like the whole second act.
The whole second act should have been.
Yeah. We talked about, when you experience that life and then you are sort of working on getting out of it. Like that's a whole process in itself. Right. And it's fascinating and interesting and it's deep.
And we had the things all set up. So we had alcoholism. We had emotionally damaged. And we never learned what is up with mom. Right?
Right.
Did she always have it bad? Or did she grow up and just make a lot of bad choices and stuck with it? You know what I mean? Just couldn't make a good choice. There's a lot of mystery there that I would have liked to have known a little bit more about.
Well, she's running from something. What?
And that would have been the second act. We have the slow introduction of Vomit Guy and we get to know more about her. And I understand this is from the daughter's perspective, right? But this would have been a prime opportunity for her to learn something about her mother. Because she doesn't talk, mom doesn't talk about grandma. Why? I don't want to. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But she could talk to Vomit Guy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought this would have been really served with kind of like an on again, off again, like they're starting to connect and then she pulls back and has to deal with some shit. And we have things that happen to Pam and the world around them.
Right.
But then she comes back to him. Right. But yeah, the whole thing with Vomit Guy was the last like 20 minutes.
I mean, or he's there for her while she's going through the thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Or trying to be.
Right.
And then we have, just because mom finds somebody doesn't mean the daughter has to be on board. Yeah. So he has to wrestle with both of them.
Right.
To get both of them at different levels to see I'm not that.
And he doesn't need to be portrayed as like the hero who saves them. Right. Because that's not what it is.
No. And I got where they were going, and I think Luke Wilson really kind of pulled it off. That I want you to be here, because he's a nice guy.
I like Luke Wilson a lot.
Long and short of it is, if you're going to write horror, you need to know a little bit about horror,
sure,
right? Or the kind of horror that you want to get into. People have been doing it, multiple millennia before any of us have come along.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing anything original. We've talked about that from the beginning. The horror stories have been told. The tropes that were made long time ago. I mean, before Shakespeare, was even a tickle in his daddy's pants. You still got 4,000 years of storytelling, right? But know something about what you're writing about. Write what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you get something like this, where poverty porn.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go out and see poverty and be like, oh, I'm going to write something about this. But you got to know about it. You got to know about those things that would make someone like you and I go, there's not a lot of connection between these moments.
Right.
They're moments like for pacing and for plot which, probably came from the book in whatever timing or whatever. It just needed to be a little, the soup was thin.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Needed a little more salt, a little more oregano, a little more garlic, something.
Maybe a potato or something.
Yeah, to bridge those.
And that was really frustrating. That was like very frustrating about this film.
It was, because those other moments, cinematically.
Yeah.
It's like, this is, good. She did a good job. She's doing well acting. You can see what she did with the direction. This is great. But then you cut to another scene, and you're like, fuck, where's the web?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the strand? Shit. Okay.
And speaking of which, the timeline is very confusing.
That is one thing that could have been done better. And that comes from the writing, right? Because if it's not on the script, it's not going to get on the screen.
Right.
And two, I think the editing might have been a little choppy too.
Yeah. I mean, Luke Wilson's character in that one scene says that he's been sober for 7 months, but like 10 scenes ago, right?
Right.
10 film days ago or whatever.
Yeah.
He was drunk and vomiting on Rita.
Yeah. It didn't seem like that much time had passed.
Right.
And that was, I think, I'll just put everybody at fault. Somebody should have sat down and seen this when it played and be like, nope, we got to go back to the room. We got to do something. And if it's like stock shots with Ruthie
seasons
voicing
changing.
over,
leaves turning color,
right?
Something.
Yeah. When your audience doesn't know where they are in the story, that's on you. Yeah. And she's the director, so she's the captain of the ship.
Right.
So that I will say that's on Katie. But somebody somewhere should have seen the flow of this and be like, we need a little, like I said,
7 months. It looks like it's summer the whole time they're there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's not like they're in the South.
Right.
They're not too far from Boston.
Right. They bring that up because they're like an hour away or something.
Yeah. So anyway, that could have been cleaner. The whole, write what you know is something we've been on about. But let's talk about Luke Wilson.
Okay.
He's underrated.
Yeah, he's massively underrated.
I agree.
His acting method is very under the radar, right? It's subtle. And he always kind of plays similar characters.
Yes.
But I feel like he gets typecast into that.
I mean, sometimes. But, I mean, in Hollywood probably. But this is an independent film. So clearly he knows his wheelhouse and he enjoys it.
That's true.
Right? I like seeing Luke Wilson come on screen because I know I'm going to feel good.
Oh, yeah.
About something.
Yeah.
Either what's going on in the movie or I don't know. But he's
like a balm for the soul.
He really is.
Yeah.
He is even with that same demeanor, he gets different levels of messages across appropriately.
Yeah. I mean, even if in his goofy stuff like Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Right? Which we recently watched together because you hadn't seen it.
Right.
And I was like, you've got to see this wild movie that is alarmingly
not too dissimilar from reality.
A little too close to reality for what it is. But he's fantastic in that film. And that film did not get the attention that it deserved.
No, it didn't. But, that's cult classics. That's what they're all about.
Yeah.
That's why we have them. They're there for the enjoyment further and further on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else did we noodle over with this? I mean, there are some negatives to it, but mostly it's positive.
Yeah.
It's worth watching.
Harp on it.
No, it's worth watching. But we do focus sometimes more on the negative stuff because one little negative thing, like a platform you have nothing to do with, can turn your audience away. Right. And you don't want to do that. So, the set dressing, magnificent, knowing what it's actually like to be sleeping in your car and poor and having to steal to get, because you're hungry. You should have taken the whole group should, because the author certainly didn't of the book.
I mean, and then also like growing up with, your mother's own trauma and issues.
Yes.
And, having to parent your parent as a kid.
Yeah. Like I said, I think this would have been better if they got rid of a lot of stuff that was in there, expanded. They brought Vomit Guy in as the second act.
Right.
Right. And we have more of Ruthie's perspective because Mom, fucked up as she is for whatever reason, because we still don't know, she deserves a chance.
Yeah,
right? To find someone, to be treated like a woman, to be treated like a human being, and to have shit go right.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing. All these stories about recovery.
Yes.
Right? Whether you're recovering from poverty or addiction or some sort of trauma or, whatever it is, all these stories about it. And when you get to like the AA meeting or when you, meet the vomit guy who lets you move into his house or when you, finish a race or whatever it is. Right. But they don't ever show that the process of actually recovering.
Right.
Which is in itself, I feel like a story that deserves to be told.
It is. And in this, they could have done some of that because recovery is almost as traumatizing.
Yeah.
As the trauma that got you there.
Yeah.
Because you have to face yourself and you have to face all the things that you're trying to get away from. And you have to learn to examine it and experience it without the benefit of drugs or alcohol, and that sends people spiraling.
Well, actually, I was reading something the other day that I thought was really interesting, talking about healing. Healing is not so that you can face whatever it was that was affecting you. Mm-hmm. It is so that you can learn how to be happy.
Right.
Which I think a lot of people don't understand is difficult.
Well, and this was ripe for that to be planted in and worked with. But I think that's really kind of, the rest of it was, great. It's sit down and watch it, live a little human drama and, kind of root for them.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say about this.
And root for us. Go check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
Help support our podcast. It is not going to be here without you helping.
That is true. Do all the things, like, subscribe.
Share.
So I'm talking, so like the podcast, share it, whatever platform you're listening to it on, share it with others, share the YouTube channels. And everything, I know it's all algorithms and, nonsense, but that is the world we live in. So subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to us on Patreon. And you have two options. You can subscribe to the podcast or you can subscribe to Lords of Misrule Productions. Go to our website, lordsofmisruleproductions.com. It's all there.
Everything is there.
Except for BF McGillicuddy.
Including on the website, the information on how to get a hold of us. Our email addresses are there, yada, yada, yada. If you have a film you think that we should watch, that you think has lessons that you were involved in, maybe you weren't even involved in it, it's just something you want us to watch. It's a B movie or an indie film, and you think we should cover it, let us know.
Yeah. Again, the only real rule is we have to be able to get to it. And
it has to be finished.
Maybe.
For us to cover it, it has to be finished. It's got to be finished and watchable or soon to be publicly watchable.
It needs to be it needs to be near the final cut. Doesn't have to be released.
Right.
Right. but it will have to be soon. It should be on that track. Anyway, we are done talking about all we had. And we've begged you to join up, sign up, share, do all the things. Let's get this thing rolling again. And yeah.
We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
That sounds good to me.
All right.
All right, B-Siders.
Bye.